After 30 years of being trapped by pain, I finally broke through using the latest science based strategies, and I'm here now to present to you the same strategies that helped me feel better, and at no cost, and there's no catch. Greetings. It's nice to see you again. As I'm filming this, it's Friday, November 1st. Last night was Halloween, and we're only days away here in the United States from an election. I've been hearing from a lot of people living with chronic pain that the stress is starting to get to them because it is holiday time also. So I thought I better jump on and start talking about stress and pain because my concern is that I'd like people to be more comfortable physically and to actually enjoy their celebrations that are coming up in at Thanksgiving and their celebrations, whatever they are, in the month of December. So, it's understandable that there is concern about the politics of the day. There's concerns about your family dynamics and expectations when it comes to holiday time. And the days are shorter now, and they that affects our moods. And some people who are in the workforce have to do end of year work deadlines. And each of those are stressors, or those areas are stressors. And I'm going to do a little demonstration for you to start visualizing how the stress of life can amplify your pain. Ever wonder why sometimes your pain feels worse one day? Well, think of this glass as your pain tolerance. You start the day and your pain's about this level, and then life gets in the way. Okay, we've got some stressors. Maybe you've had a fight with your child or your spouse or your friend. Maybe you had a work problem. Okay, maybe there was a time crunch. You're on the highway and you're going crazy in traffic. More stress, more stress. And it keeps adding throughout the day until your tolerance is just, you can't tolerate. But the good news is you can lower your stress and pain induced agony by maybe doing some movement, maybe doing some stress management, maybe making sure to get a good night's sleep. And that's how you start managing your pain. I hope you enjoyed that little presentation that I just made up. And so now that you've seen the impact of loading up your glass with stress, it amplifies your pain. So let's talk about what you could tweak in the next few days and weeks and even through the month of December so you'll be more comfortable. The first thing I want to talk about is media management. We're all guilty about our phones or maybe our tablets or checking the computer. So what's really important to understand is if you're in bed and you wake up and you decide to start scrolling through your phone and before you get up, do something positive, like getting up and maybe brushing your teeth or start grooming yourself, you are depleting your dopamine. That's your wonderful, happy chemical that your body bathes itself in when you complete something and you feel a reward. And you're depleting it before you even get out of bed if you just spend a time relaxing in bed scrolling through your phone. So what you really need to do is something positive for yourself when you wake up. And again, maybe brush your teeth or do some little activity that is not going to deplete your dopamine because you want your dopamine available, especially at this time of year with all these stressors coming down and hitting us. So you need to limit your exposure to your phone and your social media. And what you can do is you can identify times that, okay, I wake up at X time and I'm not immediately going to reach for my phone or my tablet or however you interact with social media platforms. And you're going to have control of that. The other thing is maybe stress-free zones in your day. Maybe you can be involved with your phone and checking the news and checking what some people check their stocks. Some people are, who knows, they go on Instagram and some people get the news from there, or they look at all sorts of whatever you look at. I can't predict what you are engaging in, but what you enjoy doing, that is fine to get your information and follow people that you like and learn things from that. But you need to know when you're going to be doing it rather than randomly or to fill in time because you're afraid of being bored. And I know that if I'm standing in an area in line and I look around at people and they all reach for their phones and everyone's faces into their phone and they're not connecting with other people. So it does deplete from the human interaction. So I'd like you to be mindful of how you use your technology. We're going to call it technology. And the other thing I want to say is please unfollow or mute triggering content. Let's say you have a friend or there's some personality that you watch online or read about and you don't like what they're saying right now. And every time you look at it or hear it, you get upset. You should mute that, involvement in getting that information in your head. You've got to protect your brain and your being, because when you bring in things that trigger, that make you feel upset, you're amplifying how the pain is in your body. And you don't want to do that for yourself, because you're viewing my content because you're looking for ways to feel more comfortable. I understand that. So I want to give you some strategies so you can protect that things you're learning, and maybe you're starting to feel better or you're having hope for the first time in a long time. I just want to show you how you're being bombarded by things that could challenge the good things you're doing for yourself. So again, number one, your media management. That's very important. The other thing is holiday boundaries. You're getting maybe invitations, or you have traditions where, you always have dinners, or you always go meet certain people for lunch. And sometimes you have to break tradition if you're living with pain. And that's okay. You could create it in a different way, in a way that's not stressful for you. If you start your celebrating, we have Thanksgiving here in the United States, and that comes, near the end of November. If you start planning now, thinking about how are you going to get through it comfortably? So what kind of boundaries are you going to set? Perhaps if you have to travel by car, that's very taxing on you, and you'll have to give that some thought. Is there maybe halfway you can meet, maybe for lunch instead of having a dinner? And I'm not talking about Thanksgiving night, which is late afternoon, early dinner. I'm talking about how can you connect, still have some of that friendship. But if it's too much, you need to say, it's too much for me physically to endure traveling and then sitting through a long dinner. And the other thing you can think about is delegating tasks. Let's say that you like to host. Maybe you could ask some of the guests to bring some of the dinner, the salads or the sides or the dessert. And you also, so you can delegate tasks. And, I talked about breaking with tradition from doing the things that really drain you, and maybe negotiate new ways and activities that you find enjoyable. And then also, it's very important that people don't think about enough is to plan quiet recovery days. So if you know that this day I'm going to be doing that, plan the day before to lighten what you're doing, and then the day after to have a recovery day. The other thing is I speak a lot about moving your body. And I'm not talking about, the kind of fitness that you have to go to a gym and be on a treadmill and lifting weights. I'm talking about being mindful about doing morning stretches and doing what we call movement snacks throughout the day, like consciously thinking about moving around. And it also, by doing that kind of movement, you can relieve tension. And you can do that by doing breathing exercises. And that's really simple to do. And or progressive relaxation. You could do that before you go to bed, where you listen to some music. And again, I'm a big proponent of YouTube. I mean, that's why I'm using the format. But you can be walked through all the breathing programs that they have on there. It's just a wealth of exercises you can do, and advice and music. And it's a wonderful resource. And the thing about holidays is that it's the connection that that is rich for us, and it fills our spirit. But sometimes they can be overwhelming. So perhaps if you choose small gatherings over large events, maybe you're invited to a big dinner, and you know that that's just going to be too much for you. So maybe you could suggest, why don't we meet for coffee, or why don't we do a lunch at this place? But always think about, how is it going to deplete your body, and what kind of stress is it going to add? So the intensity of your pain, because from stress, you get much more sensitive to the pain sensations. And that's just what the nervous system does. It gets overstimulated. And you saw my demonstration with the glass. It started getting full. The tension, the amount of pain started going up, 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 up. And when you take on too much stress, no matter how well you're managing living with your pain, all that stress just makes it rise. So, and each thing I'm talking about, always plan about some kind of recovery time. And finally, if you connect with supportive friends who don't discuss things that can upset you. I mean, so we have a political free zone. When I meet my friends and relatives, we do not discuss politics. We are responsible citizens of the United States. We take our voting rights very serious. We do that, and we leave it at that. As far as what information we share about the world, it's the weather. We talk about the weather. We talk about, I call safe topics, topics of the day. So I'm hoping that you're going to find this useful. And again, I did not know I'd be jumping on to make this video, but I'm very concerned about all of you who are viewing in to see me and to hear my science-based strategies. And again, everything I'm talking about is science-based. So that's it for now, and take care. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you found it useful, please give it a thumbs up. And also, please subscribe so you'll be given notice when the next video is uploaded. And also, to go an extra step, how about leaving me a comment so I know I'm not out here all alone trying to help people?